Now for the 360 round, for that, let's bring in our panel to discuss Eli Lilly. That's the earnings. Rebecca Walser, who is president of Walser Wealth Management, and Andrew Wang, who is the managing partner at Runnymede Capital Management. Thanks to you both for being here. Let's start with you, Rebecca, because we're seeing that, obviously we saw a revenue earnings beat. They raised their guidance, but investors appeared to be disappointed with the trial with regards to the fact that customers just didn't lose as much weight as perhaps many had anticipated. But do you think driving the stock down to a 52-week low is justified?
Gosh, all I can say to that, Sam, is that this market is priced for perfection, and anything that is like coming in that's a little bit negative, I mean, we're getting a 10% decline in the stock price, almost a 15% decline in the stock price because it's so priced for perfection. I mean, it's really sad because the year-over-year revenue is up literally 38% almost. The beats, I mean, we're talking about a 12.5% beat on the EPS, almost 6% beat on the revenue. But you're right, because of the price for perfection, investors are really, really drilling down to the semantics of what's happening. And obviously, Eli Lilly, hopefully being one of the first to the markets with this weight loss oral pill instead of the injectables. And really what the data point is that they're honing in on, I think, Sam, is the fact that at the highest doses, which is what you have to take to get that 12%, if you're not taking the highest dose, you were getting 11.2%. At the highest dose of weight loss, 12%, you had a 24% drop off due to side effects. Whereas if you compare that to Wegovy or Zepbound, which is the injectable on Novo and Eli's side, that's only a 7% drop off at the highest. So I think that's the issue. But I just want to frame of reference this. There's only 8 million Americans that are on injectables, and the breadth of market share of Americans that could take pills is about 170 million. So we don't necessarily need to have as high as efficacy as the orals for this to really get widespread intake use.
All right. I mean, Andrew, what do you think of this?
Well, the stock sold off because of the new data on this oral obesity pill, or Forglipron. Investors were hoping for weight loss numbers north of 15%, maybe even 17%. What they got was 12.4%, which is still solid, but not the best in class they were hoping for. This is clearly weighing on investor sentiment today. Overall, Lilly's fundamentals remain robust. The market is digesting this mixed news, but long-term growth driven by innovative diabetes and weight loss treatments keeps me optimistic here. I would add that many investors were eagerly awaiting this report to compare it against Novo Nordisk. And I see this as a slight momentum shift, at least in the short term. Novo has been the dominant player in injectables with Ozempic and Wegovy, but their oral version of semaglutide is suddenly looking more attractive. They posted 13 to 16% weight loss in trials, and now that edges out Lilly's or Forglipron. So what was looking like a Lilly potential leapfrog is turned into a much tighter race here.
Okay, yeah, so the competition is fierce. I want to get to you, Rebecca, because I have seen in your notes that you say expecting investors to be concerned with the compounded drug competition that competitor Novo cited on their earnings call. We know that they very much need to, clear up some of the copycat issues over at Novo Nordisk. There seems to be a few worries there, but there's been a big question mark as to whether this is just a Novo problem or across the board. So, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I do think that the compounding situation is, problematic for pharmaceuticals that have intellectual property in their actual formularies. So this is definitely another area that the pharmaceutical industry is going to have to attack and make sure that they're not, there's just can't be lost revenue, lost margins. As, to his point, things are so tight, and Eli Lilly really thought, hey, that we're going to have maybe a first to market type of pill that will be that level of weight loss. And this trial, unfortunately, just shows that it's not that case. And then so you could see the momentum shift to Novo. And these are the types of things, whether it be compounding or, very new trials that are giving us data that is showing, hey, it's not exactly what we thought. All of these pharmas are really going to have to worry about that. But I will tell you that this weight loss is kind of like, I don't want to say the Viagra of whenever Viagra came out, but, it's a new thing that can be taken mass marketed, and therefore I think it's going to be an upside for. I wish they could come out with a dementia pill that would be as effective, because that would have a huge market as well in this country.
Yeah, I was speaking to another guest earlier today. I want to bring Andrew back into the conversation. I'm just wondering, how you're looking at these companies in the business of these types of drugs and their pricing. I know that there's been, a lot of headlines around some of the political pressure, a directive from Trump to bring those costs down. Do you think that will help?
Well, it will help. I think that all eyes are on Washington, D.C. to see, will Medicare and Medicaid cover blockbuster drugs like these? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has criticized this class of weight loss drugs known as GLP-1s, arguing that obesity problems can be solved by improving Americans' diets and encouraging exercise. So that is an important point. One thing I do want to say is that for investors who are seeking healthcare exposure, but following drugs and pipelines are too far into the weeds, I do like the Simplified Healthcare ETF, ticker symbol PINK, managed by Mike Taylor. He has 2 decades of experience managing long-short healthcare equity portfolios, and 100% of the net profits are donated for the benefit of Susan G. Komen Foundation. So a win-win there.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, it's more of a holistic approach to your health, to your point, Andrew, I suppose. So thank you very much for highlighting that. And thank you, Rebecca, also for highlighting that. I see you have a neutral rating here, 746, the price target. We're at 635 now, so implying some upside there. So we'll have to wait and see, whether those drug prices come down and also the growth potential for some of these weight loss drugs as well. Rebecca Walser and Andrew Wang, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it on the panel today, joining us on Trading 360.